despite control, he is completely free. Even right now, he is independent from everything. He has a rich he is happy to come, happy to stay, happy to go. He cares, he loves, he shares, does not forget that there is an exit. Full secured. For a guest, every is a gift. Whatever he sees with the eyes right now, the air, the colors, the images, the culture, the tools, the projector, everything is a gift. And as he is his, he is he has the option to stay free, in yet detached. Such a good news that guests on this planet, nothing is ever. He owns nothing, he loses nothing. We will keep position, nothing to lose. Thank you.
May I ask how many heard that story of the insect and the pig farm for the first time? Do you want to raise? All right. And what was the message from that? What was? Ah. Yeah, yeah. Hmm? Right, yes. 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 Yeah, yeah. Yes. Eagle's point of view. Yes, yes. Yeah, yeah. So in the ant hill, if you see the ant hill, they are all busy. They are full time achieving something, but there's no comparison to any other creature. Even the bird and the eagle, no comparison. What the quality of life. So this is what has happened to human beings. We have dropped to another level, and we are there with our success and achievements and excitements, in the ant hill. And it is a shift that is required. Your world itself is different, very different way of looking at our life. So we'll be coming back to our board. What we are emphasizing from yesterday, and that message we need to, as if, drum it in for ourselves often. The message doesn't easily go in. And what is the message? That this is not our world. This is not our world. It is a foreign world. That's why the guests and the travelers, it's a story world. It's a temporary world. It is not in our control. This is like a common sense. It is not some belief. We can clearly see that this is not in our control. It is a temporary world. It is, we are seeing very clearly how it is a fictional world. Every attachment I create in this world, there is a penalty. You are taking support of a broken branch, there is a penalty. You put yourself in danger. You trust that branch and you are finding yourself in trouble. So also here, in this foreign world, eh, every time you are creating attachments. Patthar intellect deceives us in a big way. It doesn't just we create attachments in it. What happens next with Patthar? No, we don't just create attachments, but what do we do? We live in it. This has become our world. Putting ourselves completely in this state of madness when everything is going to disappear and we are going there with absolute victims, absolute beggars, constantly begging for life because everything is unreliable. Your existence is unreliable. You are thinking you are the camel and totally a slave, totally dependent on everything. So that is the lowest quality of life that anyone can lead. And then within that, they can be successful beggars. That is their idea of achievement. You understand successful beggar? You are hoping to get some 5 coins, you are getting 50 coins. You are very happy with that. In the same way, here everyone is a beggar, but they may be successful beggars. They got what they wanted, but underneath the mindset continues to be one of the beggar. Mindset continues to be of the victim. He is a victim. Today, everything is okay. So he's not seeing himself as a victim, but mindset is of the victim. He will still be looking for dangers. and mindset is of the beggar. This is why we create the world that we are creating. In this world, many countries, more than half of their budget goes just for weapons that can harm other people. That is the state of affairs. Trillions of dollars going into the defense just to harm other human beings. You get an idea. And in this world, the main jobs in this world are in the police and the law, psychiatrists and therapists. These are the jobs. That is what keeping the society going. Just dealing with the victim, beggar, and slave. That is what is happening in this world. If we are to address our personal life, let us leave the larger world problem aside. If I want to see my personal life, what we are seeing here today and yesterday, we have the option to come out of these bondages. Each time you are reducing the bondage, you are removing the victim within you, you are removing the slave within you. And simple message, continue to play with it 1 minute at a time. We are not saying you will bring about this big jump in 1 second or one weekend, but incremental change in the right direction. We are emphasizing during that minute is start from beyond, start from the invisible traveler. Don't start from the camel. We are not trying to make the camel holy or camel perfect, but we are aiming to get the actor conscious. And then actor is angelic. You just need to wake up and remain awake. That is our achievement. And if the actor is conscious, he understands he doesn't need anything from that story world. So every minute you are playing with it, you are bringing about the change. Create reminders for yourselves of this. Today we are talking about one more subject today, another kind of bondage we create. We said we create expectations, we create ownership in it in different ways, as if it is our grandfather's property. It's a foreign world and it is mine, mine. We are busy building fence, shamelessly claiming things. That is what is happening. And another kind of attachments we create within it, and we call it identification. This helps us understand the whole department of sorrow that exists in the world. So far, you understood yesterday, just creating expectations, we create lots of slave mentalities and the slave reactions and sorrows. But identification helps you understand the society much, much better. How do you understand the word identification? In Hindi, there is not I feel not right word. Tadhyatmikata. How many know this word? Tadhyatmikata. Yeah? Yes. What did you say? Identification. Yeah. Pehchan. Okay, let us come to one good example of this. And that is the example helped me understand. You all know about John Lennon and another man, American, by name Mark Chapman. He liked John Lennon. John Lennon is a pop star, musician, and the Beatles, great hero of 1960s. And Mark Chapman worshipped John Lennon. He had posters of John Lennon, and he had hairstyle like John Lennon. And in time, he felt he himself is John Lennon. So that is called identification. You think you are somebody else, or deeply. It is not superficially, it is deeply. He felt he is John Lennon. One friend of ours, and he is a Brahmin also in Australia. Let us say his name is Robin, and he was acting in a drama. He is an actor, professional actor, and he was acting in a drama and performing every day, and he absolutely liked the role that he was acting. And in his words, that role started to take over me. That's what he said. That he was enjoying that role so much. But at home, he would think he's James Bond. So his wife had to call a doctor. But doctors told him to stop acting altogether for many years. So this is identification, where some role you are playing or maybe another person, you feel as if that is you. Now let us take my example. This plant that you see here, I've been watering that plant every day. Since we've been here, I've been watering this plant. And people come and say, "Oh, plant is very nice. I like to hear it." Is it wrong? Is it wrong? No, no, I don't. I don't think it is a big sin. They like the plant. I water the plant. Nothing wrong. But today, Farah says that plant is ugly, and it sort of hurts me. I take the offense. Possible? Why do I take the offense? She did not say anything about me. She said the plant is ugly, and I am taking sorrow. Attachment. Yeah. So what happens here is a plant. So what happens? Human beings have got this huge tendency to build empire. We are basically deep inside. We are emperors, I think. So we find different reasons to collect things, to bring it in to claim things, to claim. So now I've been watering this plant. I start to believe that plant is part of me in some way. May not necessarily be me, or but part of me. I start to give myself self-respect based on the plant. So when you said this plant is nice, and I said, yeah, yeah, it is mine. So I put in watering that plant. So that is what is happening. And then comes the next level. What's the next level? I give a birth to an I based on the plant. It is not just my plant. There is a I created based on the plant. So today you say that plant is ugly. This I says you are talking about me. You say the plant is beautiful. This I is taking it personally. Taking personally, that is where there is identification. This I is identification. This is happening at a subconscious level. Like with Mark Chapman, it is very conscious. It started subconscious, but then it came to the level of conscious. You would say, I'm John Lennon, that kind of thing. Whereas here with me, so far, it is at a subconscious level. But it is still there. My reactions are based on this. So if you say plant is ugly, I take sorrow. These reactions are coming. So at practical level, it is there. Just that I'm not saying I'm the plant. Do we identify like this? Can you give other examples? Car, yes. You identify with the car. Painting, yes. Company you work, yes. Yeah. Some image about you with a virtue, yeah. Image. Yeah. Yes, you may identify with children or just people around you. Yes. Yeah, partner. What is it? Celebrity, you may identify with some, you know. Anyone here identifies with Mr. Modi? It is possible. If someone says Modi, someone take offense. And if you, yeah, identify with them. Then comes identification with the country or identification with the city that you live in or identification with the religion you are born. You may not be practicing the religion, but you are just born. Gender, you identify with the gender. By class, caste, you may identify with that. Technology, yeah. You may identify with Apple. Mm. Anyone identifies with Android here? Androids sit on the left, Apple. So identify with some football team, that can happen, But big areas here, subconscious, identify with opinions. Your opinion, you feel some energy behind it. Identify with some idea. It may not be a religious idea. It can be some science idea, theory of evolution. And someone says evolution is wrong, and some people, scientists can get really annoyed, angry with it, because you identify with just like some identify with the religions and ready to fight a war. In the same way, some identify with science ideas. So here we get a range of things, different things we identify with. Now, each of these identification is a false identification. It is absurd. You are never the plant. John Lennon is different, Mark Chapman is different. It is a false, it is a bizarre thing. Even to use the word my or create an expectation, we say there is a penalty for that. It's a foreign word, don't even create an expectation there. Just be the observer, be a trustee. And here, with Patthar intellect, we go there and create such a extreme attachment there, where you define yourselves based on things that are outside of you. Am I clear? So some may identify with the shoes that is it possible? Someone says shoes are so smart, you like this. Identify with clothes. Some identify with their dogs. This is the real degradation of the intellect. Here is an angelic soul taking self-respect based on the dog, self-respect. And so what happens with this? Each time you are identifying, what is the result with this? Hmm? We disturb. Yes. We are insecure. Any attachment makes you insecure, but this attachment is much deeper, so insecurity is much deeper, 10 times more. We said any level of my creates insecurity. You are creating dependency on a broken branch, and you are bound to get into insecure state. I creates 10 times more insecurity. Why? What's the big difference between my and I? When you are identifying, and if that is destroyed, identity is destroyed, you feel you are going to die. Deep inside, you feel it is like a death for you. If the mind is removed, you lose. That is, you feel insecure because you are losing. Something mine, I'm losing. You don't like to lose it. One support is gone. But if the I is destroyed, it is interpreted as I'm going to die. That's why there is an energy to fight for life. That's why there are these big wars that happen. Behind that, there are identifications. They are ready to fight, for life. This is kind of energy that exists. Am I clear? Say for one person, he has got a certain job, maybe a political job, maybe a minister. He doesn't need that job for survival. His survival is taken care of. But if his job is removed, it is not just a job is removed, something inside him dies. He feels it is like a death for him. If you remove Trump from his job, will he say, I had a nice time all these years as the president, thank you very much? Will he say that? For him, it is like a death inside. We saw that, his reaction last time when it was removed. So as time progressed, this identity gets bigger and it will be far more difficult to let go. You understand? So each of these identity is my, I'm not really clear about the difference between my and I. Yeah. My loss is valuable, but I lost not valuable. Yeah. You know, yeah. In the afternoon discussions, the things will be more clearer. But understand the difference between I and identification with things, and uh, and uh, and that energy inside of survival, fighting for life. So one time, a person said to me, "This is a story. Say there is a boss and there is a secretary. Boss is very famous, but with that, the secretary is also very famous because I'm the secretary of this boss, famous boss. And that boss was in the intensive care with the paralysis and the many things not right. Brain is not right also. Lady boss. And so this secretary, she says, I'm praying to God to keep her alive, even though she's having paralysis and a stroke and all this is going on. Keep her alive. I'm praying to God. If someone is really loving that boss, would you say keep her alive in that state or another 20 years? You may not. But why? And she thinks it is her love for her, why she says, keep her alive. What is going on there? Yes, what is happening is if the boss dies, that I, the secretary, this also dies. Hmm? And so she says, keep that boss alive. We do not realize what is going on in ourselves. So in all our, so-called crying that happens, bereavement and crying, we are crying for ourselves. We are not crying for others. They themselves say the other person has gone to heaven, but I'm crying. So why are you crying if the other person has gone to heaven? Because this I is crying for his own death. That identity is crying. We said because of this energy of death, if the animal, insect, ant, you know, you take something, sugar, you take it away, it is not bothered. But you go to hurt that ant, you threaten the life, it will come to bite you. Agree? Any animal, if you threaten its existence, cat, it will come to bite you. It will not worry how small it is or how big you are. It will come to. And this is exactly what happens with human beings and with our identities. This identity is it wants to survive, and it is very insecure because it is based on word that is a story, and it has got a script, and it has got an end, and it is unpredictable. It is based on that. So whole life it is leading a life of subconscious panic. And that whole list that you saw, whether it is stress or anger or depression and envy, that whole list that you saw, the desperations, they all will be 10 times more. They will be more, they're more magnified when you come in the level of identification. With human beings, all animals have got attachments, but human beings, this department of identification is a huge department. When we talk of body consciousness, it is not just attachment to the body, it is all these different identities, social identities. Your identity based upon, you know, identity based on pop star, identity based on country leader, identity based on religion, all these together, they all are very sensitive. So anyone can say something about your religion, you will take offense. Someone does something, these identities rule our life and create our society at present. I'll give you one example. One time I was in Finland. We had a retreat. And at the end of the day, we were having dinner, just like, and one sister, but not, she was first time, the participant. She said, are you going to join the sauna? After dinner, there was going to be sauna, and are you going to join? And I said, no, personally don't like the heat. It is for them, it is a great experience, but not for those from India. Sauna, we get every day sauna. So I said, no. It's okay, so next day she said, she took the offense that I don't like sauna. Do you know why? Hmm? Yeah, part of their invention. It's a Finland contribution to the world, sauna. So there is a little bit of a pride around it. It is our invention to the world. And someone doesn't like sauna, she took the offense, took it personally. It is a bit like someone might just say to you, I don't like Taj Mahal. Someone might mind a little bit? If a foreigner says to you, I don't like Taj Mahal, will you mind? It is possible. You might mind it, Even though you have not seen Taj Mahal, you might still mind it. We identify in a strange kind of ways, with different things. In different, I'll give you another example. One girl, a patient, there's many years ago, she said, before she goes out to work, she tries 8 different dresses. So I said, why 8? 5 should be enough. Hmm? So what is happening there? Why someone is, everyone may identify with appearance, but what is unique about her? Insecure? Anyone tries 8 different dresses? Marketing. What is in time I realized that everyone was telling her when she was small that you are so pretty, you are so pretty. Understand, no? That's what she heard. And as a result, for her, this identity became bigger and bigger. And now she goes to work and no one says anything about her. And this big identity feels something is wrong. So she goes to buy another dress, hoping something will happen. And nothing is happening. So she feels it is like wrecked. Her inner life is wrecked by this big identity created at a younger age. Do you understand? No? And taking example of John Lennon, one interview with John Lennon in 1975. John Lennon, that a sort of Beatles, almost ruled the planet in 1960s, most of 1960s. But then it finished end of 60s, and this is an interview in 1975. And he says, my life is a torture. Hmm? Here is a person whom people want to worship all over the world, Western world. Even when they came to India, they were not allowed to stay in a crowd. Wherever they are going, there is a crowd around them. To the extent they couldn't breathe this kind of a situation, but they wanted to worship. And there are universities named after John Lennon. The medical instruments are named after them or named after their songs. This is a kind of popularity and worship that was going on during those days. And he says, my life is a torture. Whilst all this is going on, he says, torture. Why? Right? Any other reason? Hmm? Ego, yeah. He himself says, next line he says, is because of the ego. So all these false I that we spoke of, identification, they all together is what we call ego. False ego, but this is all together. So the ego has got these different heads. And if the ego is made big, that bigger ego is more insecure. Bigger ego is more into envy, more in stress. Anyone got ego? Yeah. So it is like being in a reverse gear. This is the way the society is at the moment. They all want progress, progress, success, and it is all going in the stomach of the ego. Understand, no? So this is why, uh, those who study the mental health, today there are more problems than 50 years ago, mental health problems. In some countries, they say, we don't know what to do with the society. We got progress, we got prosperity, we got science, we got technology, we got so much education, freedom, progress everywhere. But we don't know what to do with the minds of people. Mental health is in a reverse gear because we are in this spiral and this is not addressed. And these false identities are getting bigger. It's just as these examples we said. And this is the story of everyone, including us. Hmm? That if we are not making very clear effort, the ego will gobble up everything. Gobble up means eat, swallow. Whatever you are doing, achievements, spiritual achievements, it can go into stomach of the ego. See this subject in more detail, reflect on it more. A very important subject. As was said, it rules our life. As you go outside, as you interact with others, you can be scratching someone's ego without you knowing, and it may create a permanent relationship problem. You might just say that I don't like some music, and they may identify with the music. Or if you are very honest, in some countries people are very honest. They might say, I don't like your tie, I don't like your dress. They might say, and you take offense. You know, you that's why many cultures you just please each other's ego. You just say, yeah, nice, this country is nice, this is so nice. You please everyone's ego and then create a nice society. Does it happen? It is a false society, false harmony by feeding each other's ego. Some positive thinking books, there are books like Dale Carnegie kind of books, Win Friends, positive thinking. And what they say, praise people, be lavish with praise, you win friends. It will be good, find the reason why you can sort of talk something nice about them and you win friends. It works. But it also creates big ego everywhere. If you are a real friend, you won't feed the ego of others. Understand? Now let us come to our, if I was to take a photograph of our mind, if you got the right Android phone, and if you take a selfie, you might get a picture like this, where there are many false identities inside. Is that right? With Android selfie, you might need a special app. Special app. So there are different eye there. One eye based upon he's playing music, so he identifies with it. There's another eye based upon his dog, another eye based on his dress, but one big eye that he's the professor of mathematics in Mumbai University. But someone else may have even bigger eye than the professor, that she's the wife of the professor. And whilst all that is happening, the true I becomes smaller and smaller. If you are the vulnerable, invisible traveler, then you don't define yourselves based upon things in the story. You are just passing through that story. You don't define yourself based on the dog and based on the shoes and based on the body and the religion, car. It is absurd. So when you are in this space, that is what we call soul consciousness. That is when you are in the true self-respect. And that is represented by this. So if you use Android, if your starting position is like this. So the question when you asked, are you 100%? 100%. So when you achieve this, then it is, one can say it is 100%. We call it karmatit stage. But we start from a position like this, where 99.9% we are absolutely saturated with different identities. But seed of the soul remains. Soul consciousness remains. It never disappears. So every minute you are creating this time, what we are speaking, 1 minute, 1 minute, you are nourishing this soul consciousness. But as that is getting bigger, the ego becomes smaller. Am I clear? It is like, yin and yang. So if the day increases, darkness becomes less. If darkness increases, day becomes less. So here you are increasing, winning on this front, and then the ego are becoming smaller. So that's a big success. You are replacing it. We are using these different methods, different words we are used, whether you call it traveler, but traveler, one who has zero attachments there. Traveler, soul consciousness is soul consciousness. If during those seconds, minutes, there is zero attachment to the foreign world. You are trustee, you are a visitor, you are an observer, but not polluted by that world. Create this minute, then you are in that space, you are progressing. Superficial relaxation and all, that is not bringing about a change. That's why when we say 1 minute, we are emphasizing 1 minute of quality. That is what will bring the light. Okay, so you are creating this time, you are creating the program, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, there's a continuous progress. You are winning. What will happen after 3 weeks? Like today is towards the end of January, yeah? So you are making program and there will be continuous progress. What will happen after 3 weeks? It is good for us to guess, no, what is going to happen. Those who have not heard me before, they get a first chance to answer. What will happen after 3 weeks? Will go, they will disappear. Yes. Anything else? Backbenchers? After 3 weeks, what will happen? Yes, very good. Yes. So there will be now one identity. I am very spiritual. My neighbors don't know anything about this. And then you will sit in meditation, but it will be over here. I am very spiritual. There will be another identity. Before you were talking about your diamonds and your car and shamelessly the all gatherings you are talking about. And now you don't talk about it because you know it is all body consciousness and you don't, the others are talking about, so you listen to all this and you say, I don't talk about this at all. I must be very humble. So now you got an other identity. I am very humble. They all are so much ego everywhere. All false eye, false eye. I don't have any, I'm humble, an image of myself. In fact, based on every virtue you have and every good act you have done, there will be inside us, there is a mechanism tries to create an identity based on it. This is my my place, my creation. This is my students, my exhibitions, this kind of thing. Possible? If you have done that painting, you'll say that's me. You might not say it, but directly, indirectly. It is good to observe ourselves. In ourselves, we have to observe. When someone asked me, okay, we identify with many, many things, the whole list, and anything you can identify. As was said, people can identify with sauna, and people can identify with Taj Mahal, people can identify with the religion and shoes, dog. In reality, it is happening. Which identity is difficult to remove? Body consciousness. Okay. Yeah, all these are ego. Yeah. And spiritual identity. Yeah, yeah. And the answer to this is the identity or ego that you have not seen. That is more difficult to remove. We won't remove anything unless I want to remove it. It won't just go. Say there is some dirt here. It will not just disappear by itself. I need to observe first. And then I say, it may be very easy to remove, but I should see that there is a dirt and I don't want it here. So most of these identities are not even seen. We are discussing it, and we are realizing, wow, there is something called identification. Am I doing it? This kind of thing. And we then observe the range of things we are identifying. And it is, yeah, yeah, yeah. All kinds of things will happen. But even those things we have to observe. You will create an identity based upon spiritual effort, based upon virtues. We need to keep virtues, but don't need to identify with it. Like in one gathering, I was in one religious gathering, and we were discussing about practicing religion and identification with religion. This discussion took that form because one person from the gathering, she said, I'm happy to remove all other identities, but I like to keep the identity of the religion. Hmm? So we were able to discuss, in that gathering. And what is the discussion? To practice religion is one thing, and to identify with religion is another thing. You understand difference? Now, to practice religion, you have to first understand the religion. Majority of the people don't know the religion. And they may know superficial, some ritual, but have they read the scripture? Have they understood the scripture? There are scholars. There are special colleges studying the scriptures, and they don't even agree. In Cambridge, we got a theological college, and their staff come to our meetings, and they say that there are so many opinions to interpret the scriptures. So even amongst them, they don't even agree. So how can you practice the religion? So large majority don't even practice. They don't even aim to practice. But they identify with religion. They're ready to fight. And and same thing with the Hindu religion also. And it can be the same thing with Brahma Kumaris also. Understand? No? It is, but that tendency is there because you to identify is a huge tendency to identify everywhere in the world. But to practice it, you have to understand it properly. And that is hardly anyone is doing it. You get benefit by practicing it, and you create problem to the world, including yourself, by identifying. Do you understand? But identify, you are creating problem to yourself to start with. We are saying it is something that is not you. To create any attachment, you are making yourself insecure. To identify, you are making yourself insecure. So we were discussing this, where it is so useful for the religious gathering to see this connection. But at one point, that senior person, she was thanking the speaker and the gathering. So I asked her, what was one thing that is important for you in our this whole session? And she said, this difference between practicing religion and identification with religion. She said, it is a new thing for me, and I have to reflect on it further. And which is, I feel, very necessary to create this awareness in the society, everywhere, to, to emphasize that identification with religion, it will just create wars. It is unnecessary for ourselves, unnecessary for others also. Any attachment only makes us insecure. It creates an insecure society. But religion, try and understand the essence of the religion. And then you practice the religion, you take benefit from it. But same thing applies to everything, every area. This. So we are now identifying with so many things. We said at the institution here, we have to check, am I identifying with religion? Am I identifying with these ideas? Like we are talking of these ideas, and someone can say, these ideas are very dangerous. They should be stopped. Will you take offense? Will you be bothered? You know, it is possible, and to notice, I may be identifying with idea, and that is still going. It is not the aim. Aim is to become soul conscious, not idea conscious. Just as you have to play the part of the camel, you are on the stage with camel, but still not identify with camel. You are with self-respect. You are the actor. So in the same way, you are with ideas, using ideas, practicing ideas. That is one thing, but you are something totally different. Stay safe. You understand you are 100% secure. Never the victim, and never the slave, never the beggar. Get that right. The moment you cross the line, then you become victim. Someone says these ideas are wrong, and you think you are a victim. Possible? And if you see yourself as a victim, as was said, victim is looking for dangers, and then you are in the army fighting a war. As you are progressing in this direction, you are creating a comparison for yourselves. This true self, true identity, it creates a momentum. And when there is a momentum, there is a contrast within yourselves. If there is no contrast, you don't know really what you are doing. It appears all progress. But only when there is a contrast, you can understand what needs to be removed and what is not, what is progress. In one place, I like this observe example in Cambridge. One house we're using. and for the activities. And one sister, she said she want to decorate one room, and it was good. So we gave her permission to do that. And after about a week, she called us to see that room. We went in that room, and it was like a little paradise. Everything was, the carpet had changed, colors, everything. She got some people come. It was paradise, so beautiful, so nicely done. And say, "Oh, very good, very good." So we came out of that room, and then rest of the house appeared completely ugly. That room was nice, and the rest of the house, we were quite comfortable with that place. But now that there's a contrast, you know, you can't live in the rest of the house now. So I said, okay, let us get the whole house changed. So we had to get the whole house, bring to that standard. Same happens here. We have to create a contrast within ourselves. you know you observe what is possible for you and what is when you are crossing the line, and that helps the process beautifully for yourself. It is not because of someone else you are doing it, because you know what is possible. All of that is possible if you hold on to the quality. 1 minute, but bring that quality. Any comments, anything? Yeah.
I have been struggling with this. So, because it keeps on merging, I'm not being, it goes like, say, my primary school, which is like decades back. So that's, and I feel merged. But if you meet somebody or some incident happens, it comes back again. So, so many identities, keep on
Yeah.
going and coming. This I identity, the positive one, is the one which is difficult. Maintain.
Yeah. The emphasis here is the right method. If the right method is applied, then you get results. If the method is not there, it will not just happen. On the contrary, the normal, at present, the direction is opposite. These identities are going to get bigger. We are going to create new identities. That is the direction of the world. All the prosperity in India and all, it is actually frightening. Prosperity and so-called success, progress. Just like John Lennon, suddenly he gets all this success, but it actually, takes him in opposite direction, makes it worse. So if we have not got the direction right, and just prosperity comes, success comes, progress comes, it takes us in opposite direction. And we have to, fine tune. And some of the discussion today, yesterday, to go through revision again and reflect at a personal level, what does that mean? Getting the direction right, and no one else can do this for us. This is the area. We have to revise and understand what it means. Even say the subject of identity, that first part, worth revising it straight away, and then you understand it, what the true identity is, and then there is a progress.
Costly interact with the face of the mother, can in the purpose also. For example, Nikki Reed used the same style of dress for 15 years. And then she was asked why she's doing it. He said that I want to adhere to this style and I want the public to follow that. Similarly, can be an example of the white dress, wearing badges. There is a purpose behind that and the courage.
Sure. Does it serve purpose? Um, in a limited way, it may, for ourselves, not for identification. Like dress is one thing, but do I identify with it? It may not be necessary. You know, our aim here is to become soul conscious, not dress conscious, not institution conscious. That is for a certain other purpose, but not for the purpose. But let me. This is a bigger question. Do we need identity for anything? Does it serve a positive purpose? Identity. Yeah. Let us hear if anyone else feels also. Patriotism. Is it positive? Do we need patriotism? And is it possible for us to do the right thing without identifying with a country? Do we need identity at all for our life? You will notice that, let us say, you got two brothers. One brother is the prime minister of this country, another brother is a gardener. Hmm? No one knows one brother, everyone knows. How will people see you? They will see you as a sister of the prime minister. Yeah. How will you introduce yourself to others in time? Am I clear? How will you introduce yourselves? How will you see yourselves as a sister of the prime minister? Even though you love both brothers, but you identify with one relationship, just because it is an indulgence, people see you. Like here, some of you came here driving the car, and over here, some of you may be helping in the kitchen, cutting vegetables. You don't identify yourselves based on I am cutting vegetables or I am washing dishes. You don't create an identity, even though you create lots of time there. But if you are advisor to the president, just for 1 hour every 3 months, you might say that I am the advisor to the president. You might create an identity based on that. Understand, no? Even though the job that you are doing as an advisor is just 1 hour every 3 months, here you are cutting vegetables for 2 hours every day. But you don't create identity based on it. We don't need this. It is a false. The whole identity is a department of false. It is not you, and we don't need anything false to continue with our true conduct, or right life.
Some junior or senior is good, so can't we appreciate him? Because if we appreciate him, he may like we are feeding his ego. Don't we appreciate or
Appreciate is one thing, and flatter, praise, that is another thing. That is not required.
keep putting the so if we tell him that you are very good, you are very
Oh, right. Okay. Most of the time, people just need a feedback once. If they are doing something right, just they need a feedback. Even say it's the parents and the children. Children are doing the right thing. They don't need to be told too much. You are doing right. Just feedback. And that is enough. They are doing the right thing, they will progress. That extra, that feedback, extra appreciation, it goes in the department of manipulation. And it is aimed for feeding the other person's ego. And it is not in the interest of the other person, not for the interest of the soul. It is feeding the ego.
False identification medications can lead to 10 times harmful byproducts, as has been said. Is this figure research-based, data-based, or it's a random figure?
Random. It's just it means many times more. Yeah.
Maybe or something. So we were considering it as a good motivating someone. Actually, we are feeling easy.
Yeah. Motivate is good, but be cautious with praise. So if they are doing the right thing, if they are already motivated, you don't need to go too far into it. But encourage them. If you want to motivate them to come in their true identity. Tell them how wonderful they are as souls, not how wonderful they are as engineers or as artists. Bring them to that level, that identity. Shine light there. So even in your vision, see them where that true identity. If I am seeing it, it will come in my words, in my attitude. I will remind them that they are wonderful souls. They are invisible travelers, and they are lucky because of that. To feed anything other than that, it may be not necessary most of the time. Any other observations, thoughts? Yeah.
It's like, find it, getting into the rooms, like, I'm engineer, doctor, and all that. That's what society had. And like coming here also, like people ask what you are, anything. That is a basic fundamental thing which we are that's easy. Now all of a sudden you are smashing that. Like, we ran 30 some years to become something, build a home, or if you have buy something or only for to identify that I have a big home or a big car. As this is something we moved on or it is like practically I'm not accepting like okay, but practically it is
What's the last thing? Practically.
Practically impossible thing.
We start the process, to understand this. What you say is absolutely right. Society is so built on this, no? They are, all that idea of success is in that at that level. But now it is like it is nice this term that is used, um, leapfrogging. Have you heard the word leapfrogging? Uh, who has heard the word leapfrogging? Yes. So there are some countries where there was no telephone at all, no telephone at all. And now they directly went for the mobile technology, more advanced system. So they don't have the wires hanging around and cable. They have gone for the satellite and mobile. In some countries, there was no industries of any kind. Now they have gone directly for the non-polluting, environmentally friendly industry. So it is called leapfrogging. You don't go through the same grind everyone else went through. You go straight to the. So here, everyone else is going through that grind and they are sort of becoming famous and then they are learning it was the wrong direction. And then they are trying to drop their ego and try to see what is the real the direction. You bypass it all, go for the highest.
Is that the correct or straight line? Reaching to that level and then coming down or straight going there, which will be the better way.
Of course, leapfrogging is the ultimate, we don't have to waste time. We see what others are doing and okay, so let us be sensible. Uh, Sign of wisdom is this. No? Sign is wisdom is you don't waste time. You go the direct highest reward. Help others also not to waste their time. Yeah.
When you start the process of leaving those branches, this deep realization has to come first.
Yes. And even in the spiritual world, also notice this side streets, and that can also be not the leapfrogging is to bypass all. We want to be involved. We want to do the actions, be involved in everything, have virtues, do the whatever is right. But you are much more than any of these things. Don't stay there to create an identity based on it, to to get some recognition at that level, because you can get deceived into the world of the camel and elephant if you do that. Understand that is happening, but we are a race of angelic souls, and the truth of everyone is eagle, and don't get deceived by the smart, land in the pig farm, new land that we are getting. They are all shiny lands, spiritual, the little quarters in that spiritual retreat center within that big farm. It is all there. We may have to acknowledge it, but destination is sky.
And it's possible in the sky very easily, but it's very difficult on the, because there's so many hurdles. Even if I want, that I want to reach from point one to point two, straight. It will not be that easy, but if I'm in the sky, it's possible.
Yes, we start the process. Yes. And once you start, yeah. Yes. And once, many times it happens, like to go from here to Delhi. Is it easy or is it difficult? It is difficult. It is so far, I don't even know the direction. But you start the process, you go to the airport and suddenly you arrive Delhi. So it is the same here. You start the process and then there is suddenly a flight possible. It is a bit like that. Hmm? Yes, yeah.
But optimization is the problem. Optimize this.
So we'll create few minutes of reset. And big reminder for us, which we have to remind ourselves many times, that this is a foreign world. And Prashant is part of this foreign world. Just like there is a story with camel and elephant, camel is part of the story, elephant is part of the story. And our world is different. It is alaukic and invisible. Everything of ours is beyond that story. This is world of immortality. We see the reality of this. For Paras, this is obvious and normal. Here is the true family and the true self. And the true self. We're so happy to see this true self as a tiny, tiny point. But he's completely carefree. He's just this invisible observer of everything, completely beyond harm and beyond needs. He needs nothing from this story world. Invisible observer, invisible trustee of everything. He has his own world beyond. Thank you.
Yeah. I open session. All are ready to drop the ego. Um, but we start the process, and life is more enjoyable without all these false identifications. So we will take a lunch break here, and we will meet back at 4. Skit. Everyone is ready. Skit. Who are some skit in the group is there? Yeah. That's from yesterday. Okay, great. And we have skit. We also have the think tank session after the skit. So we will meet 4 to 6, right? So after right now it is 1 o'clock, right? So let us take a break then. Thank you.